Aloha and welcome to this episode of By the Wave. It's a special edition episode. We've got two guests on with us today, Isaac Murray and Alec Beardall from High Country Capital Partners. Very excited to have them on today. Obviously, the theme and the point of By the Wave podcast is to explore and get to know our friends in the entrepreneur, whether that's real estate, whatever that is, to grow and enhance and uplift one another. So we're excited to dive in to the High Country Capital Partners, their pathway to multifamily success. Quick little bio for both of them before we jump into the episode here. Alec is the visionary founder and CEO at High Country Capital Partners. His passion for multifamily investing was sparked in his late teens when he witnessed the transformative power of apartment investing, provided financial freedom for both investors and the operators. Recognizing this immense potential in the industry, Alec immersed himself in learning the business, eventually relocating to Maui, Hawaii to deepen his knowledge and skills. Through dedicated mentorships and hands-on experience, Alec cultivated the expertise that now drives his success, leading High Country Capital Partners to becoming a leader in the multifamily real estate investment field. Isaac's passion for real estate ignited in his teens as well, leading him to establish his own investments in the coming years. He believes in fostering long-term relationships built on integrity, transparency, and mutual success. His relentless pursuit of excellence drives him to extend expectations and achieve unparalleled results in every venture. His commitment to investor satisfaction has earned him a reputation and trusted advisor in the multifamily and investment field. So we're very lucky to have these two super powerful gentlemen on our episode today. Before we dive in, Will, Nico, Tal, anything you guys want to plug in about these two fantastic gentlemen before we start peppering up with questions?
Just starting a slow clap real quick. Oh my God.
Studs. We got a couple of studs on today. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All
Can't wait to
hail.
learn from you guys. Can't wait to
All
learn and have a
hail
deep
High
discussion and
Capital.
for real.
Awesome. Well, let's dive in here. Alec, Isaac, anything you guys want to say off the bat before we dive in and start asking you guys some questions?
I don't think so. Isaac, anything?
Oh, you're muted, Isaac. Classic.
No, nothing crazy. We love you guys. We're super excited to do this. Thanks for having us.
Sweet. Well, let's dive in. Will, you want to take it over, start the questions off?
Yeah. So first we kind of wanted to give you each some time to kind of share a little bit about yourself. So start with Alec. Just kind of interested in your introduction to multifamily. Can you kind of tell us about your journey from a young age into the multifamily ventures? Kind of give us some dirt behind there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it kind of happened into it. Long story short, wasn't looking for it actually. But I mean, it all kind of started back in junior high. So I had a little lawn care business that I started. I wanted to go out and buy a four-wheeler so I could go riding with my friends, and parents wouldn't buy that. So I had to start earning some money. So I went out, got a lawnmower, started mowing my neighbors' lawns. I ended up growing that all the way up through high school. I had a couple of buddies that worked with me all the way through high school as well. So, it got, to a little bit bigger size, and actually sold that business right after I graduated. So, graduated high school, sold that business, was kind of looking for my next venture, and just didn't know exactly, what I wanted to do. And about that same time, I had a distant cousin that moved out to Maui, moved his whole family out there, which was kind of an odd thing. I'd never seen somebody do that. And so I started looking into that. I reached out to him, was like, hey, what are you doing to, be able to move out to Maui and, start basically a whole new life. So he told me, he's invested in multifamily real estate, which I had never heard of before. I didn't even know that was a thing. And so I just started picking his brain. I was blowing up his phone, texting him, calling him. That went on for, probably like 7 or 8 months. And happened, so right around this time, it was like early or late 2019-ish, somewhere in the middle of 2019 that this was happening. And then, like beginning of, let's see. Yeah, I was going all the way through that, like between 2019, 2020. And then I got a call from him one day, my cousin, he wanted to move me out to Maui and personally mentor me. And then in return, I'd help him get one of his businesses up and off the ground. So ended up moving to Maui 2 days later, and started headfirst into the multifamily space. So I was working under him, I was learning under him, and I was just full on multifamily every single day for the better part of a year. And that's kind of where I got started. So I moved out to Maui, peak COVID, like October 2020. I was out there for a better part of a year. And then I started High Country Capital Partners guess I would have been January of 21. So yeah, been a few years since then, but yeah, that's kind of the journey into it. So I don't know if you have any specific questions.
No, it's definitely a good outline of how you got into it, because I think not everyone's, but everyone I've met, and I think of my journey into it as well. It's just like I wasn't looking for it; it just kind of appeared. And like you said, multifamily. What's that? It's apartments. What? That's the same thing. I just call it apartments type of thing. But yeah, that's an awesome story. I mean, that's great to know. But I'll flip the script to Isaac and kind of same question.
Yeah, for me, it started on a trip to Lake Powell and stayed at an Airbnb there. And this would have been like senior year of high school. And I started thinking about it one night. We paid like 2,000-3,000 bucks to be there for just literally a couple days. And I was like, somebody here's making a lot of money. Like they own this house. We've been here for a couple days, paid them 3,000 bucks. That easily had to have covered their mortgage on the house, or at least close to it. And I thought something is going on here that I don't know about, and I want to know about it. So the whole ride home, I started doing research on like single family Airbnb stuff because I was just like fascinated by the whole thing. And it led me down this path of going into Airbnb, going into single family real estate stuff, ultimately finding multifamily real estate stuff. Kind of stumbled into it as well because I didn't even know it was a possibility, and I had some great friends that kind of showed me some people that they knew that were doing it. I ended up finding Multifamily Mindset, going through their program there, learning how the multifamily world works. Pretty much start working for them, actually, helping with seminars out on the road, teaching other people about the power of investing in multifamily assets. And then from there, I started working with Alec, and then we just hit the ground from there, and that partnership started up, and it's just been full steam ahead since then. So it's been fun.
Yeah, and you mentioned senior year. Senior year wasn't that long ago, right?
No, senior year was 2020. Yeah.
Dang. It's so great you guys found this industry at like y'all's age. You get so far ahead of so many people. So that's great. Great.
I have a question.
Justin,
I have a
go
follow-up.
ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Nico. Go ahead.
Alec, how did you know you maybe needed a business partner? Were you like magnetizing it? How did you know you were ready to bring in another person into your vision and dream?
Yeah, it's a good question. I learned super quick that the business itself is you can't do it alone to begin with. So I knew I needed to find a partner, but I didn't know exactly who to bring in. So I've gone through a couple different partnerships, unfortunately, but found the right ones now. But I started with my dad, brought my dad in first. He's a big numbers guy, so it just kind of fit. Which has been good work with family there. It's actually been a huge blessing. But I had another partner and then kind of like two, I guess, junior type partners, if you will, at first. So we kind of brought on a bunch of people right in the beginning and without doing, much background on those people. And we found out pretty quick that it wasn't the best partnership and it just wasn't going to work out. We ended up doing one deal together and then we split ways. So it was back down to me and Tim. And me and Tim worked really well. I find all of our deals and then Tim does all the financial stuff with them. But what the piece we were missing was somebody to come in and, do investor relations and raise capital for us. So I happened into Isaac and that happened to be what his strong suit was. So yeah, met Isaac through Multifamily Mindset. Like he said, I just started kind of really, I didn't have a relationship with Isaac prior to that. I knew of him through the grapevine, but Yeah, I worked with Isaac for probably what, like 8 months, Isaac? About that?
Yeah, probably 8 months, sniffing a year almost.
Yeah, I was getting up there, and it was funny. One day I was just on the phone with my dad. I was like, "Hey, what about Isaac? Like, I wonder if we bring in Isaac." And my dad was like, "Yeah, sure. I like him the couple times I've met him." And so I called Isaac up and asked him, and he was like, "Dude, yeah, I'm in." And it just went right from there. So yeah, I mean, I didn't come straight on with Isaac, just because I didn't know, I wanted to not jump into another relationship super fast in, the business space, but, just working with Isaac, for almost a year, I knew he was going to be a good fit. So,
I have a follow-up question there. That was amazing. What are some of like the key indicators that you learned from maybe your past partnerships that you went in different with Isaac to know that it really was alignment? Because it sounds like you maybe had a more rigorous like I don't want to say hiring, but at least collaborating partnership uh funnel in terms of who you want to work with, who you want to align with, who you want to build this vision with. So how did you go in it different with Isaac this time? What did you learn from your past partnerships that you brought in different with Isaac?
yeah, for sure. It's a good question. I would say the biggest thing is kind of doing like little tests that maybe they didn't know were tests, but you know, basically see like asking them to do something or collaborating on something, and having them see if they're going to do what they say they're going to do. That was one of the biggest things on the past relationships that just didn't work. And Isaac, he'd say he's going to do something and he would do it immediately. And that was one of the biggest tales. And honestly, that's probably the biggest difference was that. So,
Isaac, how's it feel to know that you passed those tests that you didn't even know were tests?
I mean, it comes down to just, that's a big thing that I try to live by is like being who you say you are. And it's interesting that when you start to focus on things that, um, and you really try to focus on like living that, other people pick up on it and can tell. And it's just cool to look back on that and that I was just living like in congruence with who I wanted to be and it was noticed and it's just been a roller coaster from there. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. I think that's like a testament to how to find like to be able to find those partnerships, that they're there. They do exist and that you can find them. Alex been through a couple ups and downs with partners, and then to find somebody that actually does fit the vision, the mold, and what it is that you guys want to accomplish together. That's incredible. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That's amazing that you guys at such a young age, Alec, has been able to learn that, implement those lessons that you learned, and then get a quite a great reward out of it. Follow-up question for Isaac. Isaac, how has it been kind of coming onto a team that was kind of already semi-established? They already had some things doing. They were already doing some things. So how was that? How was that for you coming in and trying to add value to Alec? What was that process like?
yeah, it's been interesting. It's always a process of just learning all the time. It was really refreshing that like I had people that I could lean on because we don't know everything. And when you have partners that know things that you don't know that you can lean on and learn from is a big deal, especially starting out. But it's just it makes it a lot easier to trying to think of the best way to say like
Maybe persevere through the bad days, but maybe I'm projecting.
no, that's a great way to put it, is that entrepreneurship is what I've learned so far is that it's more about having, especially in the beginning, a strong stomach than a smart mind. And Alec and Tim like all have the same, it's hard in the beginning, everybody understands that, but everybody pushes through together and it makes the whole journey quite a bit easier.
That's such a good way to say it. Have a strong, it's more important to have a strong stomach than a strong mind in the beginning. I think we can attest to that in the on the Black Cell Capital side for sure. That's amazing. I love how
Submitting our first LOI? Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
all like little girls with butterflies. We're like, oh my God, do we do it? Do we do it? Do we send it?
I'm so glad we did though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think
Man,
that's a great segue. I kind of want to get into y'all's portfolio and kind of give me some insights on High Country's portfolio. Do you guys have 450 units plus, and it's worth over 40 million? What's the details on all that? Also, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Isaac, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, so starting out, Alec, you'd have to remind me the exact unit count of that first deal that we were part of. We were part of a team on a deal in South Carolina. How many units was that, Alec?
419.
That was 419 unit complex there in South Carolina. It was a really cool situation and really cool to be a part of in the beginning because it was one of those deals that it was working well. And what ended up happening with that one is a company came in to buy a big portfolio that deal was a part of. So that was a huge success for investors, and that made investors really happy. And it was really cool to see the positive and success side of the business. And it was confirming to us that this really works and it can be very lucrative and it can change the lives of people. So that was a really cool deal to be a part of there. Currently, we have another property that's 39 units. That one's in Dallas, Texas. And then is it 38 units
Mhm.
in Tucson, Arizona? Those are really fun. So they keep us real busy.
Yeah, they do for sure. They're fun
Nice.
deals for sure.
Man, that's really cool. Were these prior to you joining on, Isaac, or did you get that 419 unit with High Country?
No, that one had sold before I came on. But being
Uh-huh.
able to connect with the investors and everybody that was a part of that deal was a big deal for me to see that this really does work and this can
Yeah.
go really far.
Talk about like baptism by fire. They're like, hey, welcome to the team. We're doing it.
Yeah, no
Hop
kidding.
in the seat. We're going fast. It's
That-
not, hey, we're looking for the deal. It's like, no, we got it. You're in it. Don't fuck up.
You're a
Yeah, for real.
fireman, here's the hose.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. That's great. And I've seen on the Dallas property through Instagram and whatnot that you guys have like different floors, kind of, I guess,
Themed.
designed after the various sports, themed after various sports teams. What's the kind of, I don't know, theory behind that, or the theology?
Yeah, it's a good question. It was we were on site one day and we were doing things on different floors, and there's an elevator inside. So every time we'd go up a floor and got out of the elevator, it looked the exact same. And we didn't have any floor markers. So my thought was we've got 4 professional sports teams in Dallas and we've got 4 floors. Why don't we make it fun instead of just putting, floor 2? We'll make it, the Dallas Mavericks, we'll do the Dallas Cowboys, do the Stars, and then we'll do the Rangers too. So it just worked out. It was just a little bit unique and it makes it kind of fun for, the people on site too. There's a bunch of kids in that property, and we threw those up, and the kids were all ecstatic, telling the management that, they loved the people that we threw up on the board. They said that's their favorite player. Just some fun stuff like that. So just to bring some character to the property.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, you kind of hear like in the value add opportunities within the multifamily space. I think there's like the cookie cutter ways, but that's a very unique way and creative way to add a whole bunch of value, especially like you said, like there's a lot of families there, a lot of kids. You get the kids happy, the parents are happy, so then happy tenants.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Creates a sense of community too, right? Like you're tapped in with the local teams. You kind of know what's going on. It kind of creates that sense of community that you want at those apartment buildings, I'm assuming, to again have that real nice, good, loyal client tenant base, to keep them happy for sure. That's amazing. I love that so much.
Dude,
You guys
I have
ever
a
do like
question.
watch parties or something? Sorry, Nico.
So you're good.
Say that one more time, Will.
I asked if you guys ever do any type of watch parties at that specific like kind of like if I don't know, let's say the Rangers are in the World Series, do you provide that as like an amenity, just for the tenants to kind of go down to
Party.
the lobby or something?
Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't done that, but that's a great idea. Yeah, we haven't done that
There
at
you
all.
go.
But yeah, I mean, we've got a big clubhouse that we could totally do that.
There you go.
Mine was a segue off Will's, was have you all collaborated with those teams and let them know what you guys have done?
We've not. No, haven't even thought about that.
You got to get the mascots over there.
Dude,
That'd be
if
amazing.
Well,
if I were a player, I'd be honored that a whole apartment building was like named after, because like you think about those athletes, so many of them are so like, I want to say patriotic of their states too, like just so proud to represent their state. So I could only imagine those players in those states knowing that there's an apartment building themed after them, dude. I mean, I'm not a professional athlete, but I'd be honored.
No, I haven't even thought about that. That would actually be cool to see if we could get any of them to come out. That'd be fun.
And then I have another follow-up. Do tenants ever dibs like which floor they want to be on? Like I call being on the Mavericks floor, like I swear to God, if you put me on the other floor, I will be pissed off.
I
That's
don't
a
like
good
the Cowboys.
I don't know. I don't think I've heard. Have you heard anything like that, Isaac? I don't know if I've heard anything.
No, I definitely haven't. We'd have to ask the on-site management team that gets to talk with those guys every day what they've heard there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
there's probably people that hate being on the Cowboys floor, but
Couldn't even
Just
blame
a
them either.
reminder.
Getting off the elevator. Gosh dang it, my team can't win a game.
can't escape them, damn it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, in your guys' kind of to segue a little bit away from that, you guys, in both of your guys' bios, it talks about being able to provide exceptional service and opportunities for your guys' investors. How does HCCP, how do you guys approach being able to scale, right? Add more investors, add more assets to your portfolio, while continuing to maintain that high standard for investor relations. What is that communication like? How do you guys go about that investor relations, trying to making sure everybody's taken care of?
Yeah. So, I mean, it starts off, I mean, we really care about our investors. And I think that that's the most important thing, is that you have to be genuine, right? The second you start seeing investors as somebody just funding your deals, then you start to lose track of like what's actually happening here. And we care about our investors. So they can tell, and we want them to know that we care. And a biggest thing there is just constant communication, letting them know like the good, the bad, the ugly. Some days we have good days, some days we have bad days. We're going to screw up, but you just have to be transparent and open and tell them about what's going on, and just show that you actually care about their investment and what it can do for their life.
Amazing. That's amazing. Great answer. Alec, anything you want to add to that?
no, I don't think so. I mean, Isaac's the mastermind behind all that stuff. So no, I think he said it perfectly.
That constant communication, so good. How do you go about that, Isaac? What does the constant communication look like? Are you on like a weekly schedule, a bi-weekly, a monthly? Do you do webinars? Do you call them all individually? How do you contact? Obviously, I'm assuming there's quite a few investors. So how do you go? What's that system look like for you?
Yeah, we send out weekly communication to all our investors that are currently involved in deals that we have, and as well as potential investors that might just be new to the space, learning about these kind of investments. We send everything out to all of those guys, whether they're in the deal, whether they're not in the deal, however it is, we care about all of them. So we send out weekly communication on email. We encourage them to reach out to us with questions, stuff like that. Anything that, any insights they have, any questions that they have, we encourage that, and we always welcome it. Because there's going to be questions that come up. It's inevitable. So we send out weekly communication. We send out monthly financials to all of our current active investors, so that they see every penny, where it's going, where it came from on the property, just so they know exactly what's happening all the time.
That's amazing. So weekly communication, essentially, hey, if you guys have any extra questions, make sure you hit us up. And then the monthly with the financials is, dude, that's huge. And you guys, how has that benefited your investor relations as a group, like your investors as a group?
I mean, it creates a community where like people aren't afraid to ask questions, because I mean, I put myself in their shoes all the time, and like if I'd seen like a month of financials that really worried me, like this is my hard-earned money that I've put into this deal, and I want to be able to talk to these guys and be seen as more of just like a dollar sign amount to them that's just helping their deals do well. So just creating an environment with them to where they can always be open and ask questions it's just such a big deal.
Amazing. It's amazing. Thank you. Learned a lot from you just now on
Off of that too, I want to add something too. with communicating, you know, especially on like the monthly basis on deals, it really eliminates a lot of questions and like unnecessary investor reach outs too. Not that we don't want them to reach out, but you know, most people just want to see, you know, a little snippet on, you know, what's going on with the deal. You know, is it still on the right track? And when you provide, you know, the financials and a little snippet on what happened the last 30 days, that's enough for most people, and they're never going to reach out to you. So it really does, it makes our job easier too, just being on top of, you know, constant communication that way for sure.
Boom. That's so good.
Are there tools that y'all use to optimize or streamline and or because there's only one Isaac doing your role. So just I
Yeah.
imagine as y'all grow, you're gonna have a more expansive investor network community. So as you guys scale, how do you plan to keep that communication so transparent, so thorough, and so just compassionate is what I hear from y'all, is that you truly care and see that this is hard-earned money that they probably worked most of their lives for, and they're giving it all as stewards to take care of and grow.
Yeah, I think that there's like such a need in the world in every single different like business type or whatever for like an in-person interaction. So I think one thing that I definitely want to always keep around is that when people want to reach out, they're not necessarily getting a bot all the time. Nothing frustrates me more than like trying to get a hold of customer service and it's like type into our chat bot here and get maybe an answer, maybe not, like who knows, it's just frustrating sometimes. So that's one thing that I like to keep around is like making sure that they always have somebody that they can talk to about it that knows. So as we grow and whatnot, I mean, the plan is to hopefully get more people on board that once we can't, like there's too many people for one person to talk to, bring more people on that they can talk to and have those interactions with.
Incredible.
So
I keep learning from y'all.
yeah. So
Alec,
with
I'll
all
let
that,
you, I mean, we definitely use like systems and softwares to help make it easier.
Yeah.
Like for instance, we use like MailChimp to send out mass communication and mass education to like educate our investor base and whatnot. And like we use InvestNext to help track all this stuff and whatnot. I'll let Alec talk a little bit about some of that.
Yeah, definitely utilize, you know, platforms to make that communication easy. Like as I said, you know, MailChimp, it's a pretty basic platform, but I mean, that's where we send out all of our weekly communications. It's more just like, more like knowledge based, you know, just informing, you know, people of, you know, what we're doing and then educating them on what we're doing as well. And then, you know, the goal is to get those guys to go from basically MailChimp into our it's called InvestNext, which is our investor management software. So in there, you know, people sign up for a portal, they're able to look at our past deals and the performance there. They're able to see current offerings, and really just kind of see the platform, you know, what they would see if they were, you know, to be an investor with us and or already are investors with us. So anyone that's one of our investors, they have their own, you know, portal on InvestNext. So they're able to log in at any point and just see, you know, they can go through all the monthly updates, see all the financials. It gives them a breakdown on their specific investment as well. But yeah, it's really just ease for the investors and, you know, new investors as well that are, you know, maybe looking to make their first investment with us. So
nice. I wanted to see, no, it's all good, Nico. I want to see if there's like any challenges you guys wouldn't mind sharing and kind of how you overcame that, how'd you problem solved that those challenges.
that's a good one. Isaac, anything come to your mind right away?
Yeah, first thing that comes to my mind is like we just went through a property management switch for one of our properties, and it's been a tough deal for a couple of months trying to like qualify different candidates, people that we think are in line with our goals the best with what we want the property to do. It's been challenging navigating like some partnerships that we have on the property, like making sure that we can create a win-win situation for us, our partners, and our investors. I mean, that's been the biggest solution to some of these problems is just finding ways that everybody can win. It might mean that some people have to give a little bit here and a little bit there, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that everybody wins.
Nice. Love the collaboration piece. I want to see it. It's kind of like something I like to say is I want to eat, but I want to see you eat too. You know, I want to see you
Yeah,
eat
true.
first. You know, um,
With
yeah.
that, when y'all first started High Country Capital, did y'all property manage it yourselves or hire on a team that is already known, credible team for managing property, multifamily properties?
Yeah, that's a good question. Haven't ever self-managed. We've always had, third-party property management. And then, we have between ourselves and our partners, we have like asset managers as well. To basically manage the property manager, but yeah, never self-managed anything at this point. So, but yeah, that like Isaac said, property management's definitely been a big struggle that we're learning that just like any relationship, you got to make sure it's the right ones in the beginning. So.
In choosing a property management team, are there maybe like key questions that you ask them to make sure they're in line with your goals, or maybe a tracking system that you have now that you've gotten to work with maybe one or two property management teams? How do you know that they're on the right track and like keeping your vision true and like going towards that goal?
Yeah, that's a good one. Definitely have, like data tracking stuff that, we want to see from them. I'd say the biggest thing though is probably like the referrals from other people on them. And especially when you get into like bigger property management groups, like for instance, we have one down on our Texas property right now. That we're getting rid of them beginning of the year, which we're super excited about. Which is funny to say, but we are. But they're a larger company, they own or they manage probably like 5,000 units. And they got to a point where, every time we'd get, new financials for the month, it would be a different accountant. And then we had, a lot of turnover on our actual property managers, all of which are, they're a part of the deal, but we don't like manage those people personally since they're a part of the property management. Um, and so you start to see things like that on a larger company that, they're the ones, it's just, you start to see red flags in the bigger ones. And, we didn't really hit referrals when we brought them on. And now that we've, kind of been talking to other people, we've mentioned, who currently manage the property. And all of them have said, yeah, those people to begin with weren't, a great company. We know a lot of people that have had, even failed deals with them, ran them into the ground, just a lot of bad things to say about them, which we unfortunately have learned the hard way. But yeah, referrals was the biggest one, just talking to people that actually have them on their properties right now. And they have good reviews about them. So.
Such a huge piece to get referrals. I think that's a huge component that most of us as entrepreneurs in general forget about. It's businesses are such a team sport, not just real estate. I think businesses as a whole are a team sport. So
Sure.
that's a huge learning component that I think Black Sail team can take to our hearts and move forward with, is leaning onto our networks.
Yeah, lean into those referrals a ton, because one thing we started to see with all of the companies that we were interviewing, they're going to send you a pro forma of what they think they can do, and that's great. But at the end of the day, that's like, it's just supposed to look pretty and enticing, and they want your business. So it's a huge thing to look at their track record and their referrals who will speak honestly about their experience with them, that you can compare what they've done in the past to what they say they can do. And then again, making sure that they are who they say they are.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You guys have learned so much, and it's really incredible to see how you guys have just learned and implemented. You know what I mean? It might have been some struggle, but you guys are implementing those changes that you guys needed to, that you guys have learned from. So I think that says a lot about y'all specifically a ton. Kind of transitioning to work-life balance. Obviously, that's obviously a thing that all entrepreneurs have to deal with. HCCP, High Country Capital Partners, obviously has to do with your guys's, or Alec, your recreations, the things you like to do as well. So how do you guys go about that, intermingling your work, but also keeping work-life balance there? Alec, let's start with you. What does the work-life balance look like for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. That's kind of the beauty of, kind of having your own business is you can kind of pick and choose, your schedule. You probably see us if you, maybe you can, I can't see myself, but, I got a snowboard behind me. So, if we get a nice pow day here in Utah, I'm gonna take the morning off, I'm gonna go snowboard. So, I think it's good, the, like you can't get around the work in entrepreneurship and especially in, the real estate space and, being on the ball, every day that you possibly can. It makes it so it's okay to, take a morning off or take the whole day off to go snowboard or, take a week off and go out to Colorado and go in the mountains. I don't know if I have anything like specific on work-life balance. I don't have like a specific like set in stone schedule. I just like feel like I know when I need to get out of the office and go hit the mountains or go do something that's not work. So, but yeah, I think it's super important to definitely not just give up everything and go only work because I don't think that's a healthy thing either.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have like a never-ending sick day policy.
Yeah.
It's a sick day or like a super sick day. So I'm glad you said something about the snowboard because that was definitely in my mind. I was like, when am I going to drop the question? Because I miss it. I'm down here in New Orleans and I see what's going on over there, and I'm like, I wish I could go and just shred. But I was gonna see, have you ever made a deal, a chairlift deal, or had an opportunity to kind of share what you're doing on a chairlift?
Good question. Yeah, I definitely have. That's another thing too, is like, especially, I was kind of covering investor relations for a good bit before Isaac came on. And so one of the things I would do, while I'm on a chairlift was talking to people about, what do they do? Because a lot of the people, that are there have similar type jobs where they're able to just take off and, go hit a day to snowboard. And that was just an opportunity to talk to, potential investors and stuff that way. But we definitely have I have people on our list now that I got from chairlifts for sure.
So what
That's
you're
awesome.
saying is a speed networking chairlift investor Shark Tank series. Hear me out. Hear me out.
That's
I'm in.
Get the selfie stick out there with the GoPro on the end to do the
Yes.
whole interview on the way up the lift. Absolutely. I love that idea. That's
Yeah.
super unique content. Hasn't been done. That's a little
Yeah.
that's a little dime we just came upon here during this webinar. That's
Inspiration
amazing.
ensues whenever. Good job.
That's
Keep it
amazing.
so plus.
One more question from me on the snowboard topic. Where's your favorite place to shred in Utah?
Oh, that's a good one.
And then Isaac, same to you right after.
Yeah, I mean, the closest resort to me is Sundance. That's always a good one, but my favorite one is probably, oh gosh,
It's a tough question.
probably
mess
Park
up.
City. Park City's got some good
I was
brunch.
gonna say I'm
Park
gonna
City's
judge
good.
you based on this answer.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, they've all got pluses and minuses, but I like Park City a lot. There's so many lifts and so many runs. It's super fun.
Yeah.
Let alone that little city is so cute. Are you kidding me? Get
Yes.
pizza afterwards. It looks
Oh,
green.
I miss
screen up there,
Maxwell's
dude.
Pizza so much.
Glad you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Isaac, same question to you, man. Where's your favorite place to go ride?
Park City is great because you can literally hit everything. The resort's so big, but my favorite is Brighton. I've just never had a bad day at Brighton. So
Mhm.
that's my answer for sure.
I hear you.
You know, it's super.
Ever get caught in? Go ahead, Jackson.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was gonna say, you ever get caught in one of those just terrible traffic jams on the way up
Yeah,
there?
the traffic's a disaster. Sometimes you have to beat it. Otherwise you're gonna hike a mile and a half to get up there and that just sucks.
It's passion. Passion.
Yeah.
Worth it.
I'm
No,
not,
I think
that's why I don't love those resorts up there. It's because of the traffic.
Mhm. Heard.
I think it's super inspiring. You guys are super young. You guys aren't even 30 yet. And you guys are being able to create this company and be able to find days where you guys are able to take off and go snowboarding. I think that's a testament to your guys' hard work and the power of real estate, right? Not everybody gets that opportunity to, I'm going to take the morning off and go snowboarding while my real estate investment firm keeps doing its thing and keeps generating income. That's a pretty incredible thing. So for me, that's a takeaway that I took away from you guys right there is power real estate, super inspiring. You guys are young and still being able to find time to be able to do the things you guys love because of the work you guys have put in provides you guys that time to be able to do that. That's amazing. I just wanted to add that in there. Not really a question, but just say that that's awesome. That's freaking, you guys are studs. It's super cool.
Cool. I love it. Yeah, it's fun.
I
Sure.
have a even off-topic question too. What do both of your like day to day in general, like what are your top 5 critical tasks? I know Alec knows what I'm talking about with First Form and Andy Frisella.
Yeah, for sure.
Like day to day, how do you choose your like top 5 critical tasks? I think that's so hard for people often. Is like, what are the 5 things that like day to day are gonna move the fucking needle? Like that are actually gonna get me to my goal?
Yeah,
do
I
you-
can start
You
with that
guys
one.
choose those?
Yeah, go ahead, Isaac.
For me, it kind of it takes on different categories, and the actual objective might be slightly different every day. But for the first one for me is fitness. It just has to be done first because it just, I mean, it gives me the energy throughout the day, right? And you just feel good when you get some kind of exercise in. So that's one. Some kind of sales and marketing is another one. Constantly looking for new investors, people that we can help out, whatnot. Sales, bringing on new investors, funding deals that we're working on, stuff like that. Another thing for me is education. Like there's a lot to learn and not a lot of time to learn it. So every day you got to do something to learn and grow and get a little bit better every day. So
Cool. I love it. Yeah, no, same thing. I look at it in a couple different ways. I follow Andy Frisella pretty close. And I follow his philosophy on it almost to a T. So as soon as it is like something that's ingrained like every day, like being around Isaac, listening to Andy, like working out used to be on my power list. Because it was something I needed, but I actually, once it's like a habit, I take it off. So I do it a little bit kind of that way personally. And then I look at first thing I do, I go through all my emails to see if there's anything super pressing that I need to address right away. And then if there is something that has to be done, to move the needle that day from the emails, I'll put that on my list. Most of the time there's not, and then I keep a running list of things that I want to get done for the business that I haven't yet. I just do it on Google Tasks, and then I go through that every day, and I usually pick, the top 5 pressing ones if there's not anything else off the emails. So that's kind of how I create the day, is kind of going through my list, and then if there's anything that's like immediate right then. So
I love that. And then just one more QA square and then I'm done. To that point, how do you guys know when you're able to, so you guys have your running list. How do you know then when you're able to like kind of create that bend in your list and go snowboard, take the break? Or is it more so when like maybe your mind, body and spirit is just like, holy shit, Alec, you need a break, brother. Like, let's go to the mountains and unwind and unplug so inspiration and innovation and imagination can come through.
yeah, it's definitely a combo of both for me. Sometimes I don't want to be anywhere else but, on the mountain. And, maybe that day, I've got a call scheduled that I can't miss. So I got to tell my buddies I can't go up on the mountain. So it definitely is more like my body just be like, you need to get out of the office. But I mean, it does happen that, those days I still have to get in the chair and go to work, which, those are the days that are kind of like a test day where it's like, you're sacrificing something, for a long-term result. And yeah, I mean, those definitely happen for sure. But yeah, most of the time I got to get out of the office.
I totally resonate with when you're saying like once you kind of build that habit, it's like it just becomes a part of you. Like you said, for the gym for you, it's just, I'm sure for you too, Isaac, it's just that's just what you do now. It's just you get up and you move your body one way or another, whether you can't go to the gym, you're doing push-ups, you're doing something to kind of wake your body up. And you get to utilize that, flex those discipline muscles somewhere else, really work that out. So I totally get that. And that's where I'm doing that, really trying to implement like underwriting, looking at it like a weight. You got to keep on doing it, get good at it. And for me, in my stage, it's tough. It's kind of like looking at the bench press when I first started trying it, and you're like, I just don't want to do that. So it's really trying to lift weights within the underwriting realm. So I totally get you there. Feel that.
Cool. I love it.
That's amazing. Do we have any more questions for Isaac and Alec? Do you guys have any questions for us?
Yeah, I got a few. Isaac, do you have any questions for them?
Go ahead, take it away.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should have opened the floor this way.
Bring it on.
Give us an update on Black Sail. What does Black Sail have going on right now?
Man, Will, you give us the update there.
So many things. I'll tell you what I've been working on, and then I'll let you guys say what you've been working on. I think something that we've done after the Hideout property, we all kind of like divided and conquered. Like that one, the LI was accepted, and we were together, and we're like, let's do this. This is like, it really felt like it was gonna happen. Things didn't work out. That's fine. We've kind of just, without saying it, divided and conquered, or dividing and conquering. So for me, I really started looking really hard in my backyard here in New Orleans area, in my hometown, Slidell, Louisiana. And I'm finding so many opportunities when it comes through multifamily and boutique hotels, and just networking my ass off and meeting all the hoteliers in the area, take property, touring properties of like these 100-year-old mansions and potential opportunities. And just like I said, like shaking hands with the right people, touring some of these new hotels that are coming up. And it's just like, man, this is amazing to see in such a historic city. And I've been learning so much about my city that I love so much, but then also in my hometown, in my immediate backyard, like finding opportunity like for things that's never been done before here. So I feel like a pathfinder and really creating that thing that I've always wanted for my hometown to be, and I get to do that. So we're working pretty hard to make that happen, as well as creating community, kind of creating this collaborative community. If you guys were here, you would be there, every single one of you. But I'm having a really good time in creating that here from all ages, and also educating people on commercial real estate from multifamily and a boutique hotel perspective. And then, not to mention the pretty part of it in Guatemala, and the most beautiful place in the world, in my opinion, Lake Atitlan. There's two pretty cool opportunities. One with my uncle and their property, which is amazing. It's called A Piece of Heaven on Airbnb, if everyone want to take a look. And there's another, like, just jungle. Like, this is where like Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong probably lived, if this was real life. And we found it, and it's just, it could be amazing. We're waiting for a few things to fall in line, but
Looks like a little slice of Italy in Guatemala. It's like a little island just to give people visuals. It's a hotel that's built in a rock that's on water. It's magnificent, glorious, dynamic, and just luxury to a T when you think of luxury.
Right. And then also, like, this property, it's operated as what we want, how we want to operate properties. There's an eco-friendly style of I guess, style business. And that's what it's been doing for the past 30 years. But, classic story of the owners are boomers. They want to retire. They want to move back down under to Australia, and they're ready to pass on the torch. And we're like, we want to do that.
I have fire. I have the fire. Light the torch. Let's go.
Right. So, there's some challenges when it comes to investing in Guatemala. Luckily, they have a lot of good things in our back pocket. I have dual citizenship there. But again, Guatemala is a different type of animal when you compare it to the rest of the Central American countries, like Costa Rica and specifically. But that's kind of what I've been working on. And, I'm feeling very hopeful going into this next year that we're going to get something very soon. So I want to pass the mic to Nico and tell us what you've been doing.
Yeah, Nico's been just nurturing those relationships. My family down in Costa Rica. So through the Hideout, I found out my Costa Rican dad's brother is a broker. So he's been sending us deals. Jackson and I got to hop on with JC with Remax. He's been sending us aligned deals that way. And just kind of working those numbers. We're all learning underwriting with Will because currently we relied on Strat, and it's just kind of it's a beast. Like through the underwriting process, I feel like a good collaboration is market research with underwriting, 'cause so much like vision comes through underwriting. And nurturing those connections. We have connections here in Hawaii. People are sending us deals to help be stewards with. Kind of getting our e-commerce store set up and our MailChimp, which is kind of why I was asking about those like tech questions, marketing, and warming up investors. So that's kind of where we're at, like just getting our operations dialed in, the foundation with fully healthy nutrition. So that way, when we do have our deal ready to go, that we are as strong and vibrant as you two.
I love it. Cool. Super cool.
Such good updates. I don't really feel like I have anything to add. Those are really good updates on everything that we've got going on. You know, the Costa Rica deal that we had, Lost Boys, I like to say it fell out of alignment. It just wasn't a deal that was for us anymore. So we walked away. You know, it was at a good time for us to be able to walk away, and we learned so much with that deal. And I don't know, Nico will correct me if I'm wrong, but since walking away from that deal, it's like we're flooded with new opportunities that like really truly align with what it is that we want to do. So it was a fantastic learning lesson for us, especially like exploring a new market, a foreign market. There's so much there to learn and explore and know. So yeah, that's a huge win for us. And yeah, just kind of another little update since
I
then.
guess we're kind of learning with our mentors too, though, because something for us that I think why it's taken us so long is like a lot of our mentors have boutique hotels, but maybe not in other countries.
Yeah.
Or so, and like even just like underwriting templates, it's like we're kind of still like, to Will's point, helping just pioneer what that template looks like, or so the numbers are accurate, not just making them up. It's a whole orchestra, and that's what we're learning. But through that deal, it's helped us kind of get our foundations way better. Because when we were in that deal, we were like in that deal and getting foundations set up. So we were like, ah.
Yeah, I
So-
can really for sure.
And then we're
There's
like,
also
did we do it? We're doing it. We're fucking crazy. We're doing it.
So good.
the other piece that I've learned is kind of how a boutique hotel is a living and breathing, you know, being in itself on a daily basis. You know, I met with the executive director of the Blackbird Hotel in New Orleans, where they're building 2 more, and he's, you know, explaining like this is a daily thing. Like there's something different that goes on every time. It's short-term rental, so you have short-term issues. You know, long-term rentals, you know, you have to worry about the furnishing for the most part.
Yeah.
But you know, working with interior designers, working with architectures to get this, to make these boutique hotels boutique, right? They got to be unique. So it's really putting on a different lens. You know, I went to go meet with the architect and interior design, and it just like opened up my eyes. I was like, this is so much more than I had thought, you know, and they're talking about ground up opportunities and stuff like that. So it just, like I said, just kind of threw me for a loop and just kind of let me know how much more there is to it, or how different I guess it is.
Yeah, definitely some different caveats between a boutique hotel and a multifamily property. Like just like you said, the because I mean all of our stuff is basically based off of a month, because most people month to month stuff doesn't change very often. It's super constant. But I mean you guys have, you know, guests that'll be coming in and out of the properties daily, which is on an underwriting basis way different than a multifamily property. So there's definitely
Yeah.
a lot more moving parts there for sure.
Yeah, you gotta listen to the market. You know, here in New Orleans, we have Mardi Gras. You look at the average daily rate in Mardi Gras, it's completely different than what it is today. You know, it's like thousands of dollars of a difference. So it just depends, you know. And then like, how do you tell that story on paper to investors? So like, you have to really find those investors who's aligned and they understand. So that's been a huge learning curve. So like Jackson said, it fell in alignment for the best like ways possible for us to learn.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah,
Oh,
covered
we
that
need to
well.
do a deal together.
Yeah, that was gonna be one of my that we're gonna do a deal together for sure. So for our sake and, you know, some of our listeners' sakes, can you guys give us because I mean, multifamily and boutique hotels drastically different, but also very similar. As it like from an investor's perspective, what is a benefit, going into an investment with a boutique hotel over like a multifamily property? Could you guys kind of touch on that, on, the benefits for investors?
Yeah, so I'll just kind of say something we learned from the House It Hostel guys is that this is the passionate asset class, and or boutique hotels, hospitality, and there's got to be a lot of passion behind it. And I kind of learned that, with my time in New Orleans of seeing all these properties like 100-year-old, 100, 200-year-old properties that you have to adhere to all these special codes just for the historical purposes of it. So if like you get something there, you have to want to invest in New Orleans. It's not, it floods here, we get hurricanes, it's tough, Summertimes are really hot, nobody wants to come here, I get it. So what are you doing during those times? So you got to want to invest here. And I think that it's really that alignment piece that you guys have found with the multifamily. That's a huge piece. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Cool.
I know
I like
Nico's got something in her brain.
I think there's some creativity to it. So just in general statements, I want to say I believe in all real estate. I love all real estate, but I think with boutique hotels, there could be a higher revenue potential. To Will's point, boutique hotels can generate higher revenue per square foot than multifamilies due to the ability to charge nightly rates versus monthly rates, right? Like with those upcoming events. And we have a little bit more, it's return on experience, not based off like occupancy, job growth. We get to we're providing return on pricelessness, something that they'll remember forever. So how can we create that blue ocean that's something like unseen before? How can we create something that will be everlasting and historic to this individual or to this ohana or to this group of friends or business group? I think scalability and design. So like just speaking of branding, I think it's a little easier to scale your brand as a boutique hotel. You think of like, or just hotels and hospitality in general. You have AC Marriott's, you have the W's, Hilton's, you have smaller kind, and you kind of know what you're gonna get if you're booking those. Whereas like multifamily apartment buildings, it's harder to maybe build brand identity are two big things I notice. And then tourism growth opportunities. What we're based off is tourism growth. So Costa Rica just won 2024 biggest tourism record. Like those are, I guess, key metrics that we look for. And I think it allows for higher revenue potential. Now, granted, I'm not dissing multifamily. I love real estate. And just big differences for investors. I think there's just some higher revenue potential and a grander way to create brand identity. But Jackson, Will, I don't know if you guys want to add on to that.
Yeah.
Those were just the two ones that popped in mind.
Yeah, you know what, you asked Alec to compare multifamily and boutique hotel investing. And the best thing about both of them is that they're both commercial real estate assets, and your investment is backed by a commercial cash producing real estate asset. So that's the biggest thing, that I think both of those asset classes provide immense security for investors. In the same way, tax depreciation, all those same exact ways that they do on the multifamily side, you can get that on the boutique hotel side. But then again, yeah, just to drive home what Nico's saying, multiple different streams of revenue. Oftentimes with multifamily, you get your rent revenue. That's really it. Yeah. You get your revenue from your rent. That's really all of the revenue stream that you're getting with boutique hotels. We're partnering with restaurants. We're partnering with third party adventure experiential type companies where we're now taking revenue from them as well. Another thing is the events that we'll hold at these boutique hotels. There'll be weeks at a times where we'll be able to close the hotel down and provide an amazing space for people, for healers, for other types of people to come and hold experiential events that can obviously boost revenue immensely comparative to just the daily nightly rates there as well. So yeah, just to add on to what Will and Nico were saying, there's all the great things that you can get in multifamily. You can also find those in boutique hotel, but then there's also a couple of little extra add-on to drive that revenue for sure. But both, like, again, agree with Nico. the asset class, commercial assets is where you want to be parking your money. And I think that's something that HCCP and BSC can agree on for sure.
Yeah, no, I love it. I've also heard maybe through the grapevine that investors that invest in these boutique hotels may or may not get a few free nights
Yeah.
properties.
Yeah, so there's definitely those perks there that come with investing into those properties as well too. You're a fractional owner. So yeah, you'll get some free benefits there, some huge massive discounted rates as well for sure. But obviously, we don't share that too much because then that cuts into their return on their investment as well. So there's a good back and forth there of kind of finding a good middle ground for sure.
But super sexy to stay at your investment. Like I can't stay at a Bitcoin.
Yeah. Careful not get Isaac going.
Yeah, and like you think of people that invest into timeshares too. They get timeshares, but they don't really get that much time that they can stay there. With the investment into a boutique hotel, you get a bunch more flexibility there too to actually utilize the investment that you're investing in. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Cool. Isaac, what about you? Do you have any questions for these guys?
No, you hit the ones that I wanted to talk about. So I really like that last aspect that you talked about, is that a lot of times investing can be like so detached from what's actually going on. And I really like that aspect about the boutique hotel space, is that they can go to the property and stay there and have a really cool experience, and it just like brings their investment full circle, which I really like that. So I just wanted to plug that in about the boutique hotel space. That's really cool.
Good point, dude. It's a really good point.
So I have a question for you guys. So what do you guys want to do? When you say you guys, now there's a want to invest with each other and to figure out something to do like great, in a perfect world, in a dream world that we can turn into a reality. What would you guys want to do?
Yeah, it's a good question. We've had a lot of talks about it, but we haven't ever like sat down and like made it a point to like, let's do this. I mean, for me, like our bread and butter so far has just been the multifamily space. So I mean, I think it would be super cool to kind of expose a very similar but also very different asset class to our investors. I mean, I think doing a boutique hotel, going exactly what you guys are doing, in Costa Rica. I've seen your guys' posts as well, about the tourism stats and whatnot. I think doing a deal with you guys there, I don't see any issues with that. So I think for us, I mean, I don't think, in reinventing the wheels, something that we, need to do. I think doing a deal in Costa Rica, or, I mean, I know you guys are looking at stuff, in Hawaii, you're looking at stuff in Louisiana. We'd be open to all those. I think we just need to.
Utah is one of our markets too. I know both of you guys are there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's one of the places we have on our radar for sure.
Yeah,
It's a big
that,
on our radar.
Yeah, I mean, I have, stuff that comes through for Utah all the time that I just honestly don't even look into, just because I don't know. I feel like we haven't made a point to do it, but we need to do a call like that. So
yeah,
I love that.
I mean, the beautiful thing with Utah is that, just get a beautiful piece of land next to a mountain and we throw some tents on it and
yeah,
call it a day,
for real though.
Then
I mean, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I'm excited for what we'll do in the future as individuals, as a team, as separate entities, all that kind of great stuff. I'm super grateful for you guys' time today. I learned so much from both you guys. Known you guys from afar, but now to get your undivided attention is great. And I'm jealous you guys get to snowboard.
Well, you're not missing much on the snowboarding right now. There's no snow here, so
Oh,
don't feel too bad.
We're waiting for our first solid POW day, but hopefully soon.
I hope so.
I freaking love y'all. This is
Gosh,
so
likewise.
fun.
It's been a long time coming for this.
I hope you
Yes,
can
it
feel me just squishing all your cheeks and giving you a hug. Don't you sideswipe me, Isaac. I know I spelled your name wrong. I have it down now. It's not two S's.
Oh, true that. 2 A's, but
Alex,
I
like,
couldn't
it's
give a
not
hoot less.
Isaac, Nico. It's Isaac.
I just figured I'd do that before Isaac raged. So
Yeah, true.
Sorry.
I'm always just on edge anyway, about to rage.
I love it. No, seriously, You guys,
Glad you didn't see that. Or if you did, I'm so sorry. It's like, oh
No, you're
God.
good. It is not a big deal at all. I've
But don't
always
do it
gotten it that way.
But
True.
don't.
Yeah, definitely don't do that again.
well,
Love you guys. I'll add you to the Discord.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you. Thanks so
See
much.
you
Yeah.
later.
See ya.
Later.
Yes.